any time and have open dialogue with me. So with that being said, I'll just kind of go ahead and open it up to you guys and let you guys tell me exactly what you would like to learn on this training session. And then we'll jump right in and start doing that. So if you guys want, unmute yourselves and just tell me, or type it in the chat box if you're not comfortable having a voice conversation. So it's completely up to you whether you want to unmute yourself or whether you just want to type in the box. Just let me know exactly what you're wanting to learn or exactly what you'd like me to teach you during this training session, and then I'll go in and teach you just that, and we'll get started. So I would encourage you guys not to be shy because this training session I hold is especially for you guys. So don't be shy. Obviously, you've made it to the training session. You've came to the training session, so you might as well take advantage of having me here. I typically charge $100 an hour for my time for my clients. So I'm not charging you guys anything at all. So you might as well just take advantage of that while you're here, and just let me know what it is that you'd actually like to learn. So just tell me exactly what you'd like to learn or what you want me to show you, and then we can go ahead and get started from there. Okay, no problem there. Well, hopefully we'll get somebody that will actually either open their mic and say a couple words as far as what they're wanting to learn, or somebody will type in the chat box what they're wanting to learn, and then we'll go from there. So until then, I can just kind of go ahead and show you some of the basics. Hopefully I'm saying your name right. It's Delana, right? Delana, hopefully I said that right. So I'll just kind of tell you some of the basics until I get some other input from some of the other people here. You can see my bot working right now. So you can see that my bot's actually collecting some email addresses right now. So some of the basics. Okay, so you need to work with dates, Eugene. So unfortunately right now ManyChat's not giving us some really great ways to go in and get dates. So they're not giving us any real verification to go in and actually verify dates actually. I'm not sure why they're not doing that yet, but they're just not providing us those functionalities yet. Thank you so much, Joy. Is that one empty? Yeah, thank you so much. So they're not giving us really that many options to be able to go in and actually verify dates. They do give us dates as a custom field type, but I don't know why they do that, because whenever you try to put any input in those, if you create a custom field and you give it a date value, they won't allow any actual date inside there. So so let's just go ahead and try that out real quick. So one of the best practices that I always recommend as a best practice that anytime you want to do anything, anytime you have a new flow and you want to do something specific, that you always come right here to content, and then right in there, good morning, Sergio, and no problem, it's definitely my pleasure. You always go right into content and you just select a new content, and then you give this a generic name that you'll be able to remember what this content is for. So I'm going to give this working with dates. Okay, so we're going to create that content right there. I'm going to also suggest to you guys that anytime that you work with any type of flow or dialogue, you just always use this flow builder. If you're not used to using the flow builder, then just stick around with my training and I'll show you exactly how to use it. But you'll find that using this flow builder is just going to be much faster and much more powerful than using just the basic builder. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a new tab and come to my settings and create a custom field. And this custom field is going to be test date. All right. And then we're going to choose this as just a date. All right. So we're going to create that custom field. So now over here, we're going to come right here and we're going to get some user input. And this input is going to be, as you can see, there is no date type here. So we're just going to have to put text. And then here we're just going to have to put test. So you can see there is no option to get that date. So we just created that custom field called date, and there is no option to actually get that date. So there is nothing else here that could possibly be a date, right? So the only thing that could be a date is a text, and if we try to access that date custom field, it is just not available whatsoever because we're trying to put in a text object into that date. So there's a little disconnect here still with ManyChat as far as why they give us these custom types, these custom fields, and we can use a data type as date, but then they don't actually allow us to access those guys or do anything with them, and they don't give a reply type as a date. So, so the only real workaround that I can give you here is to do this, to give examples. Is to give examples, and then hopefully your user will follow your examples, and they will actually listen to your examples, and they will give you data according to that example format that you're actually asking for. So you can't count on that. You can't guarantee that they're going to do that, because in this since it's a reply type of text, they will be able to give you any type of value that they want that conforms to text, which is anything. So the only workaround, like I said, that you can do is to go in and just give them examples, and hopefully they will follow these examples. So you could even do something like this: any other format will be ignored. And now hopefully that they get a good understanding here that any other format that they use is just going to be ignored, and you're not going to pay attention to this format. So until ManyChat goes in and actually allows us a reply type of an actual date, until then we have to work with some workaround on this. So I wish there was some better solution for you, Eugene. I wish there was some better workaround for you than this, or some more elegant solution than this, but unfortunately there just isn't right now. Okay, and so Richard, to answer your question, Richard, you ask, how does someone see your main menu? I don't understand how a subscriber would see this. So how somebody sees your main menu is pretty straightforward. So somebody will just come right here. Well, not right here. Somebody can just see right here. That's your main menu right there. So right here next to this, somebody will be able to see this on your bot right next to send message. They'll see this. Unless you're on Messenger, okay? If you're on your mobile device, then somebody will see your main message, your menu, just like that in the actual Messenger. So if you're on Messenger, somebody's always going to see your main menu right here at the bottom. And actually the only way that they can send a message is to pick send a message from your main menu. So like I said, if they're on Messenger, if they're on the Messenger app on their phone, your main menu is just always going to appear at the bottom. If they want to send you a message, they physically have to hit that button that says send a message. Outside of that, if they're on a PC, if they're on a computer, then they're going to see these three little hamburger bars, which is indicative all over the internet of this is a menu. So that's pretty common knowledge all over the internet. Whenever you see these little hamburger bars, that this thing is a menu, and then they'll just click on that, and then they'll be able to access your actual menu here. So hopefully that answers your question, Richard. Yeah, sure. So Eugene, and like I said, you guys can always, you're always free to unmute your mic. If you want to have a conversation, you're always free to unmute your mic. I don't have any problem with that. I just mute all you guys because, like, for example, if I unmute you right now, if I unmute everybody, then most of the time what you'll find out is you're going to hear a bunch of background noise that's going to distract all of us from what we're actually talking about. So I just mute everybody. so that I don't have to get distracted by what's going on in the background. But like I said, you're free to unmute yourself anytime you want to have a conversation. I have no issues with it, and in fact, I actually prefer having verbal conversations as opposed to going in and doing this. So I'll answer your question in just 1 second, Eugene. And Richard, you said, can I see it live outside of ManyChat? I'm still working on finishing it. So Richard, if you want, maybe just pop in the link to your Facebook page that has your bot. Just pop that in right here into the chat, and then I'll go look at it right here on the training session, and then I'll show you where your actual menu's at. And if we can't find it, I'll show you exactly what you need to do to enable it so that the rest of the world can see it. But so if you just want to drop the link to your Facebook page right in here, then I'll go in and actually look at it and see your bot. But as you can see, just by looking at my bot, or if I was to actually open up another one of my pages that has a bot on it, and go in and let's get that page open. Go in and actually look at that. So here's another page that has a bot on it. And if I go in and test this, you can see that this guy also has that little hamburger link, and I can click right on him and see that guy's menu, okay? So Richard, if you want to drop it either as a public message or as a private message to me, if you just want to drop in the link to your page that has your bot attached to it, we'll go in and take a look at it real quick and see if your menu is visible to the world. So now to come back to your question, Eugene, you said, show us how you did a broadcast. Okay, so let's first, let me look at this real quick, and then we'll go in and look at your question, Eugene. So here is it. So one good thing that I noticed. So I'll tell you some good things and bad things that I noticed already, Richard. So the one, and just keep in mind, this is relative. I'm a software engineer. I'm by no means an expert marketer or content writer. I'm a software engineer. What I do is I run my own company that is a software firm. We build bots and we build third-party applications. We just build software for people. So that's my expertise. But one thing that I see is if you look here, let's say at this page, all right, now this page has a bot attached to it, and you see that clear, huge call to action is send message, because I want to funnel people into my bot. So the huge call to action here on this page is send message. If you look at yours, your send message is not a huge call to action. So your call to action is see offers, not a huge call to action of, could you shut my door, please? Not a huge call to action of send message. So maybe you want to go in and actually edit that to have the huge call to action be send message, because you really want to get users into the bot. You really want to get your subscribers into the bot. And from the bot itself, you could instantly, in your welcome message, you could have some call to action in your welcome message that would say, would you like to see my offers? And then a user could just click that, and they could be presented with the same offers that they see here. So let's go ahead and get started on your bot. Let's just click get started. So I do see here, Richard, that once I click get started on your bot, nothing has happened. So I would say that's a very bad practice. You at least want to have some type of flow. The ideal flow that you're going to have in this get started message is some type of segmentation of your users. Find out what it is that they want, how often do they want you to send them promotional broadcasts? What type of content are they interested in? Use some flow here so that you can go in and further segment your users. Definitely don't do what you did right now and say get started and then nothing happened at all, because they're expecting something to happen. So now they've clicked get started. So now I've get started, now what? Now what's happened? Nothing's happened at all. So so now I see this has happened. Maybe that was your welcome message. I'm not sure if that was your welcome. No, that's your default. That's your default reply right there. So so definitely maybe do something on that welcome message to go in and start segmenting your users. But here's your menu right here, so I can clearly see. Here's your menu right here. Now I do see that you've got this powered by ManyChat. I would definitely recommend, unless you're completely strapped for cash, go ahead and giving those dudes at ManyChat that $10 a month to get rid of this guy right here, because trust me, your users are going to, anytime a user sees these powered by things, they realize that as a business, you have opted for the cheaper or the free version of something and not for the paid version. And that always hurts your brand. So I would, and plus, if you want to do any type of complex thing with your bot, if you want to do anything more than really just deliver content from your bot, you really want to, I mean, you have to have Pro if you want to do anything whatsoever. And yes, Sergio, you can add anything that you want. So you can type in the chat, or if you want to unmute your mic, you can just put in your input at any time, and I'll just be quiet and let you speak. So I have no problem there. Yeah, and you can definitely add in any opinion that you want. That's what we're all here for, is just to learn together. So any opinions that you have, you can definitely go in and put in, whether you want to.
All right. So I'm heard by everyone right now. You hear me, John?
Yeah, I hear you just fine, man. So everybody else does too.
Thanks. So about how your bot talks to people, I think that when you call people by their names, or like here in your example, you can read there, it typically replies very fast. I think if you change the way the bot gets to the people, like instead of that, we typically reply very fast. That's a more personal kind of treatment for the people that are landing to your page. So I think the way the bot communicates to people makes a different connection from and actually that makes people feel more confident about the web page. When I see that, I can actually feel that there's something and it's giving me a reply and not you guys. I don't feel like a human treatment from it, right? So I feel it's a bot, and in my personal opinion, I think it's better to feel that there's actually someone replying to me, or like a humanized version of a bot. That's my opinion, John.
Yeah, I would totally agree with you. The personal touch does a lot of things. So the personal touch, one, this is something that I tell people all the time. Everybody on this training, everybody in the world values their time. There's not a single person in the world that doesn't associate some value for their own time. So people are relatively smart. They value their own time. Hence, they're going to assume that your time has some value as well. So if they feel like they're getting this personal touch from you, and if they feel that even a person is responding to their messages, even if it is a complete automation bot, even if they feel like some person is physically typing to them, it starts to create value in your brand, because they start to think that you're physically spending time with them. And the more time you spend with them, the higher association of value that they're going to have in your brand. So where can you go in and actually change this at? Right here, you can easily go in and change this right here. If you go to automation and go to default reply, you can change this right here in your default reply. Okay, here's my default reply, and this is something that I would really suggest that you guys do something similar in your default reply. At least have this step right here. Okay, what you want to do is you want to come over here to this. You want to come over here to this live chat. In this live chat, you want to go to settings, and you want to make sure that conversations should be opened explicitly, okay? That means for a conversation to appear in this live chat, you physically need to do something like this, which is open conversation. What that will do is means that the only things that will show up in this live chat are conversations that your bot has not been able to answer for you, okay? So you can see in my default reply, the very first thing that I do, keep in mind the default reply is a reply that only gets fired off once every 24 hours, only when your bot cannot handle that incoming message. If your bot doesn't know what to do with that incoming message, it will fire off that default reply. So what you really want to do is you really want to, as soon as you get that default reply, you want to open up a conversation so that you can easily come in here and have a live chat. So you can have a live chat just like I'm having with this user. That's exactly what's happened here. You see, this guy has asked me, so what is a bot? Now, since he's asked me what is a bot, that has been my default reply where I said, could you rephrase that, please? I didn't quite understand you. So that's the message that he got. Could you rephrase that, please? I didn't quite understand you. And look, he's right here at the beginning of my live chat because I've done this open conversation. And then over here as well, you can look over here in this demo bot. It says Isaiah Harris just did something you should be aware about, because I have this notify admin block. So that means that at my personal Facebook account, I'm going to get a message to let me know, hey, this person needs your assistant. The bot has not been able to answer him. So now you can come right in here and just click on that button, and that will literally open up in ManyChat the live chat opened up to his thread where you can now go in and actually respond to him. That's going to make it really, really easy if you're somebody like me, let's say, and you've got all these conversations that are happening in your bot, but they're just interactions where people are actually interacting with the buttons in your bot, or they're interacting with the quick replies in your bot, or they're putting keywords where the bot's automatically delivering them content based on the keywords that they're given. It's going to make it really easy for you to figure out, okay, which one of these people are sitting there waiting for a reply from me because the bot hasn't been able to give them any type of answer. So, like I said, you just look at my default reply. The very first thing I do in my default reply is I'm going to open up a conversation. I'm going to notify an admin, and then I just ask these guys if they can rephrase their question. And the reason I do that is I take this data and I send it off to Zapier to a spreadsheet so that I can begin to go in and compile a huge spreadsheet of pieces of data that my bot is not able to automatically handle, so that I can go in periodically, look over that spreadsheet, see all the things that my bot wasn't able to handle, and I can go in and start actually updating my keywords so that my bot becomes more and more robust over time. So I definitely recommend you do something like that, but you would go into just your default reply right here, and then you could go in and actually edit this guy right here. Okay, but here's your menu. So this is your main menu right here. So you could come in relatively the same spot into this main menu, and you can go in and edit your main menu and then turn it on and then just publish it. Once you publish it, everybody will be able to actually see that main menu. Okay. But that is visible to everybody in the world right now. I can go in and see your main menu. I just see that it's empty right now. So I can see that it's empty. You haven't added anything into your main menu. So you probably want to go in and add stuff into your main menu. So now I see, coming back to your question, show us please how you did a broadcast us about this course. How do I send message to my subscribers? So for that, I'll show you a couple broadcasts. Okay, so earlier today, I sent out this broadcast to everybody that subscribes to my bot. Earlier today, I sent this out to everybody that had actually subscribed to my bot. Okay, so I sent them out this flow right here that basically let them know of a new group that I started and that I'm going to do some training sessions today. And I just gave you some call to actions to let me know if you're interested in the training sessions, if you're not interested in them today, or if this message was annoying you. So if you told me that this message is annoying you, well, immediately I just unsubscribed you from my bot and then just told you, okay, no problem, you've been unsubscribed. So I sent you I see I had 4 people say that I was annoying them, so I just automatically unsubscribed them. The reason that I do that is ManyChat charges us. When we're pro, it charges us $10 a month for up to 500 subscribers. Once we go past 500 subscribers and we get between 501 to 1,000, they charge us $25 a month, I believe. And then after 1,000, they give us new price points. So a lot of people care about this number of subscribers. I don't so much care about this number of subscribers myself. This number of subscribers really doesn't mean so much to me. What means something to me are the subscribers inside this unit that are going to end up converting on what I want them to convert to. I would assume that everybody here, we're building bots not just for shits and giggles, right? We're building bots with some marketing objective, most likely some monetization objective is there behind what we're doing, right? What we're wanting to do is build this list of subscribers, not just so we have a huge list of subscribers, but so that we can get potential conversions. We can get people to go in and convert on our offers, and we can eventually make some money, get some new clients from them, right? So this number, let's say we got 1,000 subscribers, but none of them are going to convert. None of them are ever going to be potential customers of us. They're never going to take our offer. They're never going to essentially give us those dollar bills that we ultimately really care about. That's why we're spending our time doing this, is in pursuit of that money, right? So at that point, our 1,000 subscribers really become useless, right? Our 1,000 subscribers are really useless if we're not going to get them to convert on something. So why keep them there? Like I sent out this message, okay, so I'm annoying you. Well, guess what? This whole bot, what it is a demo bot. So it's used to show how you can build things in a bot, how you can make your bot functional. It gives you tutorials, how you can build advanced functionality, and then basically sends you links whenever we do live training like this. So if that link is annoying you, I could almost guarantee 100% that the rest of my content that I'm going to deliver to you is also going to annoy you. So I don't want you to contribute to the amount of subscribers that I have, because at some point I'm going to have to pay an additional fee for those subscribers. So I'm just going to unsubscribe you. That's it, plain and simple. So if you tell me not today, that means that you are interested in my live training, but you just don't have you just don't have time to do it today. So I'm going to give you this message and say, no problem. Would you like to get notified whenever I do training tomorrow? If you say no, then I'm going to say, hey, no problem. Enjoy your day. If you say yes, then I'm going to give you a tag, and I'm going to say, hey, this guy wants training on Tuesday because tomorrow's Tuesday. And then I'm going to say, okay, enjoy your day. I'll let you know tomorrow. Now, if you would have said, yes, I'm interested, then I'm going to add a tag, and I'm going to say, hey, this person wants training today, and I'll send you this message that says, okay, I'll send you a message a few minutes before I start each live training. Okay, so that was the first broadcast that I did out. Now, after that broadcast, let's say I sent you this broadcast right here. Now, not this broadcast. I sent you this broadcast right here. So I sent out this broadcast saying, hey, the next training session is going to be at 9 a.m. Eastern. That's 45 minutes from now. Would you like me to notify you with a link whenever the training starts? If you say no, then I say, okay, no problem. I'll let you know about the next one. That's going to be around 11 a.m. EST. If you said yes, I'm going to add a tag. I'm going to tag you that you're interested in getting notified about the next session. And then I just send you this message that says, okay, I'll send you a link 5 minutes before the training starts. Now I send out this broadcast right here. Now this broadcast, you can see I only sent this broadcast out to users who were tagged with that next session tag. That tells me these are all the people that literally told me, yes, please tell me when you start your next training session. So I just went in and I targeted those people, and I sent them out this message. And then I removed that tag next session because I've already notified them about that next session. So I did a little bit of cleanup there. So how that works is literally you just go to broadcast, you create a new broadcast. Now here you switch right to your flow builder. You build some content, you build your entire message flow, whatever things you want to send out, whatever flow you want to send out to somebody. Once you get that message flow built, you just go to next, and you choose between these guys. I always use a subscription broadcast is what I always use. And then you can set your condition. So here you can go in and say, hey, the tag is next session. So now this will only go out to people who are tagged with the next session. Or you could go in and say tag isn't next session. So this will go in to everybody who don't have that tag next session. So here you can go in and filter out who's actually going to get this broadcast. You could go in, and there's so many filters, conditions. You you can tag this by gender and say, hey, I only want to send this broadcast out to men who are tagged that they're interested in the next session. So now you have to be a man, and you have to also be tagged that you're interested in the next session. If those two conditions are matched, then I'll send this out. Or I can switch this and I can say any of these conditions. So now the condition is going to be either you're a man. If you are a man, you're going to get this broadcast. Or if you're not a man, meaning you're a woman and you're tagged with the next session, then you'll also get this broadcast. So that's how you can go in and actually target. And then you're either going to just schedule this broadcast right now and start sending it right now. If you want to start sending it right now, then you've got this where you can go in and time travel, and you can send this message will be delivered same date time according to the user's time zone. So that means that you're going to send this out right now, but whoever has a time zone that's before right now, they're not actually going to, let's say whatever time it is right now, it's 9:33 a.m. So now I send this out right now, then everybody's going to get it right now. And set for those users who have a time that is earlier than this time, then they're going to get it at 9:30 a.m. their local time. So I don't know in what use case you'd actually want to use that. I never use that. I always just do this. I always just send everything at the same time. But I'm sure you could find use cases for that. You could also limit your sending time and say, hey, I only want to send this from this time to that time. When is this useful? Well, this is really useful if you have a huge list. If you don't have a huge list, then you don't even have to worry about this at all. And then actually, you don't have to worry about that at all unless you have a huge list. If you have a huge list, you may want to limit this, because if you have a huge list, it could take a long time to go in and deliver everything, because Facebook has their own rate limits as far as how many times you can hit this broadcast API per second. So if you have some 100,000 subscribers, it's literally probably going to take 2 hours to deliver messages to all those 100,000 subscribers based on Facebook's rate limits. So, and then you can change these different notifications here, what types of notifications that they're actually going to get. And then you can just get more information here. It tells you what exactly this means. If you just look here, you're gonna see exactly what this means if you click on here. So if you're not sure what this actually means, then you just click on it and you'll get a little bit of help tips to let you know exactly what this means. All right. So then from here, you just hit send now, and bam, your broadcast is done. It will go out to everybody. Your other options here are you can do a promotional broadcast. Now, promotional broadcasts are going to be a broadcast that pretty much is a promotion. So it's going to be where you're trying to send a promotion, some advertisement, some offer to somebody. And you can see promotional broadcast messages can contain ads and promotional materials, but they can only be sent to subscribers who were active in the past 24 hours. If they haven't been active in the past 24 hours, you can't send them any promotional content, which is why I always use this subscription broadcast. I never include promotional content in my first message. I have a call to action that a user needs to interact with. If they interact with that call to action, then it's Thanksgiving Day. It's free roam to be able to go in and give that user promotional broadcast, because they're literally asking for it in the call to action. And then you have this follow-up as well, which says at the end of a 24-hour window, you have the ability to send one follow-up message to these recipients. After that, you won't be able to send them ads or promotional messages until they interact with you again. This subscription broadcast you can send at any time, but they can't contain ads or promotional material. So you should be able to figure out by looking at your content if it has any promotional material in it. And what that means is this first message here cannot have any promotional material in it. Now you can go in and add some quick reply like this, where it says yes. And then now if they click yes, here you can give them whatever promotional information that you want, because this constitutes an interaction with your bot. If they hit yes, they've interacted with your bot. So that means it's been less than 24 hours because they literally just clicked this button. So this message right here can contain whatever ads, whatever promotional materials that you want. So hopefully that answers your question, Eugene, and you understand now how to go in and actually do that promotional broadcast. If not, then just send another message and I'll elaborate a little bit more. So let's see. Richard, you said, I had a lead go through this flow yesterday. She got the default message. She hit the leave a message. She provided the info. I requested, and then you jumped onto a conversation. That's good. That's great. The only thing I'd recommend, like I said, Richard, the only thing I'd recommend is doing something like this in your default reply, because if you got 10 subscribers, it's going to be really easy for you to go in and find out which ones you need to give content to, which ones you need to go in and actually do something yourself, right? Because the bot can handle. As that number increases, as you start to get 300, 400, 1,000, 2,000, and you start to get this large number of subscribers on your bot, and they're interacting with your bot. They're sending you messages. Those messages have keywords. Your bot's automatically delivering content. They got some buttons. They got some quick replies. They're mashing those things, getting more content from your bot. If you don't do something like this, you're going to see, here, if you look at my page here, it's really hard for me to go in and it would be really hard for me to go in and look here and figure out who I need to respond to, because there's just so many messages. You can see here's so many messages all in a short course of time. There's no way for me to physically know who I need to respond to. So for that, I use this live chat. And in this live chat, the only people that show up here, the only people who show up here are people who have done some default reply that have notified admins. This makes it really easy for me to see, like this guy. I can clearly see this guy wants me to send him an invoice in PDF format of something that he's actually paid me for. So if I were to go in and try to find that guy's name is Daniel. If I were to go in and try to find that guy, where is that guy anyways? I don't see that guy anywhere in here. And I know, oh, here he is, way down here. Now, does it seem easy to you if you're scrolling down here trying to look at this to try to figure out who needs some information from you? Okay, I can see now this guy has asked me a question, but this is going to take me it's going to take me a substantial amount of time to go through and look at these guys and filter out which guys are getting default replies back from my bot, which guys are getting content served up from my bot that I don't have to worry about, versus which guys need my physical interaction. So that would just take too long. So because of that, I do this block right here. I open a conversation. I notify admins so that I can see these people filtered out right here very easily and easily go in and reply to them. So yeah, I'll get to this real quick, Sergio. Facebook Messenger new terms of service. How do we need to adjust our ROI sales picks to clients to adjust to these new restrictions? How does the new terms So I think I'd want you to elaborate a little bit more here, Dennis, on what you're actually asking. But for keywords, for auto responses, you don't have to change anything at all for auto responses, because Facebook's terms of service says, now I haven't read their updated terms of service, so maybe I want to go in and actually read their updated terms of service. But their terms of service for promotions are just within that 24 hours of a user actually interacting with your bot. Now, if a user is triggering an auto response from some keyword, they're interacting with your bot, so you're free reign to just give them as many promotions as you want. And B, now obviously that's not the ideal scenario, because if you just flood the guys with promotions, they're probably going to do the unsubscribe thing. So that's a whole other marketing challenge that we need to fix. But to comply with Facebook's terms of service, they just need to be active within 24 hours and actively be interacting with your bot within 24 hours. If they're giving you some message that's triggering off a keyword, well, they're active within 24 hours because they just triggered off that keyword. So you're free range to go in and actually give them anything there. Now, also, If you're talking about autoresponder from like a JSON ad or from a Facebook comments tool, you've got pretty much the same thing there. Well, where in that JSON, in that comments growth tool, you got to give them one message first, and then they have to reply back to that message to actually get your content sequence. The fact that they replied back to that one message means they have actually interacted with your bot. So you're also free range at that point to go in and give them whatever promotional material that you want. So let's take a look at this Fast Fix Peru real quick.
And so, John, that's my own bot. I have a delivery phone repair shop, and it's actually in Spanish. So I want to guide you through one simple steps because there's some.
No hay problema. Yo puedo leer español, puedo hablar español, así que no hay problema.
All right. Thanks. Great, by the way.
No problem. So the first thing I would say is you really want people calling you, or you want people interacting with your bot? Because your call to action here, your big call to action is call now.
So right now, I don't mind if they call me because I don't have that much of customers. It's a little business yet, but in the future, yeah, I will change it. I mean, I add lots of value in a call right now. So if usually they call me, I close the sale, the service. So I don't mind about that.
Sure. But even if you do that, when they're calling you, how are you saving that information so that you can remarket to them later, right? Even if they're calling you and closing the sale, you still want to build that list so that maybe later on you can go, let's say a month later, 2 months later, you can ask them for some feedback. You can try to get them a new promotion or something. If you're just drawing them to a phone call, yeah, great. You close the sale. You make some money today. How does that help you a month from now? How does that help you 2 months from now if you're not collecting their information?
All right. Yeah, I haven't gone pro yet in this bot, by the way. I will eventually.
So definitely go pro. Other big thing that I would tell you right off the bat, there is no need for this right here, man. This is way too much content. Break this up into what it looks like 3 pieces of content at least. So I'll tell you the same thing that I tell everybody else. I already told you guys once on this session. People value their time. People definitely value their time, okay?
All right.
You go in and what you want to do, and this is a lean philosophy, okay? You want to match content with consumption time, okay? So you want to match, let's say, content delivery. If we were to look at this from a manufacturing perspective and say, let's apply a lean philosophy, which is ultimately how the hugest companies in the world go to be such profitable companies, as they get these little Japanese guys that are really, really great with this lean concept and eliminating waste. And they go in and they do a process audit of their factory. And they say, hey, you should just take this machine right here and you should move it over 3 inches. That way now this guy doesn't have to take a step. He doesn't have to physically move 1 step to deliver this part to the next guy. He can literally just pass it without moving a step. That's going to save him some 1 second per part. He's going to do, some 1,000 parts per day. That saves him 1,000 seconds per day. Let's say it takes him 10 seconds to actually manufacture a part. Whoop-de-doo, I just made you 100 more parts per day, right? That's what lean manufacturing does. That's why there's such a huge market for it. So from a lean concept, you kind of want to do the same thing here. You want to match content delivery with consumption time. You go in and present this much data to somebody. If they don't want to read this much data, they are going to leave, right? Maybe your person only wants to read this much data. So present them with that much data. Let them consume that data. Now they've invested some time consuming your data. The likelihood that they're going to invest more time consuming this data increases with every piece of data that you actually give them. So now you give them this data. Once they consume this data, now give them this piece of data. Once they consume this piece of data, now give them this piece of data. And if you deliver content you'll see more and more people will read all your content, because by the time they get done reading this piece of data, they already have a time investment consuming your content, where they're more likely. So which that means every second that you can get from somebody creates a value. People value their time, right? We all agree people value their time. So the more time that you can get somebody to invest in you and your brand, the more value that you create in your brand. You can do that without providing any value whatsoever. You can do that even if this is complete gibberish, garbage content. You can still create value in your brand just by getting people to actually invest time in it. Okay. So obviously, I'm not saying that you guys need to just have some garbage content. You really want to have good content, because now if you create good content, it's like this double whammy effect where people are investing time ingesting your content, which is creating a value. And on top of that, you have the added benefit that your content itself is valuable. So I would definitely say you want to separate these guys into multiple messages. Deliver this, maybe, hola John, somos Fast Fix, el único servicio de reparación express. Okay, so that took me some 2-3 seconds to read that. So deliver this piece of content. Let's just do that for you. Let's just go in and create that for you. I would definitely recommend you always go in and create content like this, where you always start with this generic content. That way you can reference it anytime that you want. So let's go in and grab this guy right here. And then let's just take this guy right here and delete this conversation. And then let's come back over here and let's add this guy. Let's add some delay for 3 seconds. Let's grab this guy right here. The other thing that you don't want to do, which is why I'm saying you don't want to do this, is because see what you've just done to the user? You've made the user scroll back up to actually start reading your content, and the user doesn't want to scroll. Right. This guy is way too lazy. He doesn't want to scroll back up there, so don't make him do that. The more user-friendly you can make this for your users, the more success that you're going to have. I mean, if you give higher barriers where these guys have to go back in and scroll back up and everything, then you're going to start seeing much more people actually bounce off. So now you have Cotizar. What's that? That looks like it takes you to another flow there.
Cotizar is like you want to know the price of our service we have.
Okay.
So that means it tracks customers, right?
There's another big one right there. See, you've done the same thing there. You delivered them way too much content where you could have broken this up into multiple messages. Remember we had somebody. He jumped on and said he was talking about this personal feel, right? Even if somebody knows this is a bot, this personal feel, this is not a personal touch here, because the personal touch, deliver this little piece of content, have some little typing bubbles, right? Have some little typing bubbles right there. Why you want to do that? Right there, because just those typing bubbles, the user assumes you're going to give some more data, right? This guy's writing some more stuff. He's going to give, even if he's not interested in this content right here, even if he doesn't want to read this content, he's not interested in this content, most likely you will get him to read this content just by delaying and putting in those typing bubbles, because he sees those typing bubbles. He's waiting for that next piece of content. What's he going to do until he gets that next piece of content? Well, he's either going to look at the rest of this crap on his Facebook page, or he's just going to read the message that he didn't want to read in the first place, and he's going to read that while he's waiting for the rest of your content. So
awesome.
So now somewhere over here, we've got somewhere over here. Oh, it's not over there. It's right here. So now right here, let's say we've got this piece of content. Let's preview this guy right here. So, hola John, somos Fast Fix, el único servicio de reparación express. Now you see, even if he's not done reading, it's still on his screen where he can read. Now he gets this next guy right here. So let's try that again and see if I've given myself enough time. Hola John, somos Fast Fix, el único servicio de reparación express. Si deseas una cotización sobre algún servicio, por favor dale clic el botón cotizar. En caso deseas comunicar con nosotros, por un garantía, dale click a garantía. So let's just give one extra. And just remember, these delay times are your friends. I mean, these delay times are definitely your friend, and it's not going to hurt you if you bye Jenny. It's not going to hurt you if you have to. Trust me, it's not going to hurt you if this guy waits an extra 2 seconds for your content. It's definitely going to be in your benefit. The more time this guy is waiting in anticipation for your content, the more value that you're actually creating. So, so now we've went in and actually edited that, and so I can see here's that first one. Actually, probably going to go right back in there and add just one more second to that guy. Now I've had enough time to go in and read this. Now I've got this content. Now whenever somebody clicks your welcome message, clicks your welcome message, that's what they get. Everything's on the first screen, right? They can go in, they've consumed that. Now they can go in and actually consume this. Now they go in, they finish this, they've consumed that. Now they go in and consume this. Everything's on the same screen. They don't have to go in. By Delana, they don't have to go in and scroll up or anything like that. So it's a much more better presentation. So anytime you see huge content blocks like that, your best option is go in and just separate these. If you're going to put in a new line, then you might as well just go in and put in a new content block like this if you're going to put in a new line, because you're going to make it much more easier for users to read your content. Plus, I mean, this is any marketer will tell you this. I mean, whenever you fill out payment forms, if you look at the most successful organizations out there, whenever they do their forms, they have this step process that they don't show you about. They collect a little bit of information. You fill that information, they collect some more. You fill out that information, they collect some more. And they continue in this process until they get all your information. Why don't they just show you, hey, here's every piece of information that I need to collect from you to complete this transaction? Because they know if they do that, a good percentage of their users are going to say, hey, I don't want to give all that information. I don't have time to give all that information. So they're just going to leave. If they just say, oh, I just need to give my email address and my name. Okay, I got time to do that. Oh, well, now you're asking me for my phone number and address. Okay, I got time to do that. Now, the more time that they spend filling out that form, the less likely they are to abandon, because one, they don't know how much more information you're going to collect from them. They don't know, are you almost done, or am I close to done? Am I halfway done? They don't know, but they do know, I've already given you so much information. I've already spent so much time. Probably my next step, hopefully I'm done. And the more steps that they have, they're going to continue and be more likely to go in and finish that next step, because they've already invested so much time and already given you so much data. And the same concept applies here. You know, if they go in and spend the time expenditure reading this, then you're more likely to get them to read this. Now, if they don't have, let's say you want to get them here, right? You want them to ultimately read this. Well, if you pop this whole message to them and they just look at this message and they're like, shit, that's just too much. I don't even want to read that. So I don't have time to read that. Okay, I'm distracted. Because ultimately, where are they? They're on Facebook, and it's like, oh, new post over here. I'm just going to be distracted from that. So I'm going to exit that out, and I'm going to now just look and see what my girlfriend's doing on Facebook. So if you take the other approach and you just match content delivery with content consumption, you'll see that more and more people will actually consume your content because they have a time investment in consuming your content.
All right. Oh, my main question is the following. So when I get people to that cotizar button, it's that they want to know how much it's worth a service, right? So if you click there, it funnels you to what type of customer are you? Like you have an Apple, Android. Then
you say if I click this, cotizar,
right? Cotizar.
Okay.
So it's Apple, Android. Right now, I work mainly with iPhones, and so it's Apple. The message usually people click in the iPhone. Then I also repair Macs. And there I have I ask people what kind of device they're using. Right now, I've only configured the iPhone 6 button to test how people react to it. But I'm using right now a keyword, iPhone 6. Is there another way to trigger the message when people put the word iPhone 6, or there would be any other way to get them there? And my bot to recognize that they have that iPhone 6, so I give them the right price for the service?
Yep, let's go in and grab that real quick. Cultizar. Let's finish building out your flow real quick. Not going to build all of it, but let's just build this part because it seems like that's what you're focusing on right there.
Yeah, it's my little sales funnel, right?
Yeah, and this is good. I mean, this is a really good use. So now I've clicked that Cultizar. Now I'm going to have Apple or Android. Okay, so this guy, this Android, don't care about this. We're not going to care about that right now. So now this Apple, we do care about this Apple. All right.
Yeah.
So first thing that we want to do is tag this guy, Apple user.
All right.
So now that we can easily find who all our Apple users are. All right. So now we know that this guy was an Apple user. Now you got iPhone or Mac. So let's do the same thing. So now we're going to do the exact same thing here.
Yeah, that's a wonderful way to use tags. Well, thanks for that. That's added value. Definitely. I haven't used that before.
What, these tags?
Well, I know I might have heard now with the subscribe lists and all the subscribe messages I can send, the broadcast message, that works wonders. That will work definitely.
Now here, all right. Now here, my suggestion here, all right, is now you're saying, me indicas por favor qué iPhone deseas reparar en caso sea un modelo de iPhone intermediado, por favor coloca el número completo. Okay, so here what you could do is replace that from this to a user input, try a multiple choice guy, also allow free text, okay? Also allow some free text and give this, you know, iPhone 4.
Oh, I didn't know that was possible because I haven't used that before. Nice.
iPhone 6. Right. And you could even actually get rid of that allow free text and you could do something else.
How many multiple choice can I have?
I think you can have 10.
Nice. Yeah, I can go through all the iPhones there.
Yeah.
And then whenever they click, I can make another flow from each one, right?
Correct. Now, if you want to do that, what you're going to do is, so here we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We've got 11 different. We've got 11 different choices. Okay. So now what you can do from here, all right, is continue automatically. All right. Continue automatically. And then what you need to do first, let's cancel that. What you need to do here is in this guy, you need to do a custom field. Let's call it iPhone type. That's going to be a text field. So now here we are storing that data in this iPhone type. All right. So now we can look up iPhone type. All right. So now from here, we can just come in and have some conditions. and say, hey, if this condition is iPhone type, if this iPhone type is whatever you put in there, iPhone 4, then do this. Let's say, let's tag this guy. Let's tag him.
It's an iPhone 4.
Yep, and then let's tag this guy. And then let's send him some message. Okay. So now if this guy is iPhone 4, we can do that. If he's not iPhone 4, then let's go to our next condition. So to do that next condition, all I want to do is Control-C, copy that guy, Control-V, because now it's going to save me some time. And I'm all about saving time, where now I can just click this guy and change this to iPhone 5 pretty easily. Now I can copy that, paste him back in there, say, hey, if he's not that, then go in and drag him down there. If yes, then I'm going to add a tag to him and then send him a message. So this tag is going to be iPhone 5.
So I cannot continue individually from each answer. I have to make a custom field first, right?
You could continue individually, okay? You could, hey buddy, how are you today? Great, top post. You could continue individually, but for that, what we would do is grab this guy, put this guy here, and then just have quick replies, iPhone 4, iPhone 5.
But I'm only limited to 3 of them, right?
No.
Or not?
No.
All right.
I think you're also 10 here.
All right.
So you got 11 here.
So that's the quick reply option, right?
Right. Now from these quick replies, you can come in and route this guy straight into that action.
So what would be the main difference between A and B splitting and the quick reply button? Why would you rather use one or another one?
Validation. One, if I do this, this guy, if I use this quick reply, this user can type in a message to me. He can literally type in, I use iPhone 6. Now I have no way to tag him. Now he's actually triggered my default reply, got some default text back to me. Okay. If I use this here, then literally if he types in some text, it's going to automatically validate and say, hey, look, you need to pick from one of these options up here. It's going to literally, if he tries to type me a text and say, hey, I use the iPhone 6, he's going to get this message right here that says, pick from one of those options above. Or he's forced to go into my flow. And it's not going to, now I could allow for free text if I want to allow for free text, but why do I want to allow for free text? I don't want to allow for free text. If I want to allow for free text, I could give him this something else answer and he could click something else. And then on something else, I could have a condition. If he's put in something else, then I could go in and have a question and take his free text from that question and store it in there.
Oh, nice. So could you please like show us how this works on like the demo of it?
Yeah, sure.
Can you try it?
So
how does flow go?
To do that, let's go in and clean this up a little bit. Let's get rid of that guy. Let's get rid of that guy. Get rid of that guy. Let's clean all this stuff up. Okay. Now we've got rid of all that. We've got iPhone 4. We've got iPhone 5. We've got, let's change this to iPhone 6. And then let's just go in and put grab this guy, paste him down there, put one more flow in here, and say if this guy is something else. And actually, we don't even actually need to put that there because we have this condition right there, so we can just put them right there. So let's see, let's go in and tag this guy. Let's tag this guy that he is, add a tag, iPhone 6. And this tag was iPhone 5. Something I really want you guys to make sure you remember is always click this new tag. If you don't click that new tag, then whatever you did just doesn't do anything at all. So I didn't remember to put it on anything, so I have to redo everything. So there's that. So now there's the flow. He can go in and pick that. If it's something else, this is, let's just say, let's grab this guy, paste him in there. Oops. Let's put our 5s in there. Let's put our 6s in there. Okay, so there's that. So let's make a preview of that real quick. So here's our flow. There's that question that we stole from you. There's our next question. We just added some delays so that we could go in and make sure that he's actually reading our content. So then now there's that. Here's our button where he can go in and do that. Now we're going to, oops. Don't care about that. And yes, Eugene, to answer your question, we can build a multilingual bot, and I'll show you how to do that just after this, okay?
Great.
Now we care about Apple. So we cared about iPhone, not Mac, so we'll care about iPhone. So now here's our questions right here.
Nice.
So now here's why we want to do this. iPhone 6, I type that in. Now that works fine, right? That works fine only because the content that he gave us actually matched our quick reply. That's the only reason that works. So if we try that again and he annexes some other data, like I use iPhone 6 or something, the reason that it works is one of our options was iPhone 6, and that was the content of our quick reply. So if he types in that, literally types in the same content, then it will work. But if he types in some other content, then it's not going to work. So we'll do Apple. Then we're going to do iPhone. So now he's going to say, I use the iPhone 6S. And this guy is going to say, look, select from one of these options right here. Now he does have a skip button, so we could go in and actually take that and get rid of that skip button. So now that skip button won't show up at all. So he doesn't have the option to skip. And now he can go in and say,
and
hey.
People have to click on it, or they can type.
They can click on it, or they could type. But the only way the typing is going to work is if they physically type the same thing that the quick reply says. If they don't, like this.
All right. But they can also click on it, right?
Right. They can do either one. They can click on it or they can type. So you saw here, I typed up here, I typed iPhone 6. I typed this, and it works because my quick reply also says iPhone 6, and they're literally the same data. Down here, I typed, I use an iPhone 6S, and there's no quick reply that matches this. So he was presented with the options again and says, please select from one of those. And now you can see it says that. So now if I was to come in over here, And if you guys could all do me a huge favor, if you haven't done this already, if you could do me a huge favor, and if you could just click on that link right there that I dropped in. If you could just click on this link that I dropped in, that will really help me out a lot, because that will allow me to do some tagging in here to see who's all attended these training sessions. So if you could just click on that link that I put inside the chat. But now I can come here and I can look, see my tags. I've got some iPhone 5 tag. There's me tagged as iPhone 5. Now I can easily find somebody who's iPhone. If I want to tag who's iPhone, there. You want to look. Who do you want to market to? You want to market to your Apple users? There's an Apple user. You want to market specifically to an iPhone user? There's an iPhone user. You want to market specifically to Mac users? No one's a Mac user. You don't have any Mac users. You want to market specifically to somebody who uses iPhone 5? There he is. Somebody specifically who uses iPhone 6? There he is. Somebody specifically who uses iPhone 4? You don't have any iPhone 4s.
Nice.
And you can easily see there. Okay.
Wow.
So it works great.
Awesome.
This will really help you with your promotional broadcast, obviously, because you can go in now and find out who you want to market to. You know, you want to send out a broadcast. Let's say you fix Macs, right? Probably if you're not a small business, if you're a little bit bigger than a small business, probably you got some guys that work for you.
Yeah,
Maybe,
I have.
Well, maybe you got some guy that's much better suited fixing Macs than he is iPhones. He just has a better skill set, and that guy is the guy that always works on the Macs, so he's more optimal fixing Macs. Let's say this guy can fix a Mac with a 0.8 efficiency. He can go in and repair a Mac, but the same guy to put him on an iPhone, fixing an iPhone, he goes down to a 0.5 efficiency, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his use of time is much more better fixing Macs, right? So now you can go in, you can look at the schedule. How many Macs do I have, right? Well, I don't have so many Macs to repair, so I need to get some work in queue for this guy. I could give this guy, if he has no work, what do? I tell him to work on these iPhones, but he's not so efficient at doing these iPhones. It actually takes him twice as long to fix an iPhone as it does for him to actually fix a Mac, so I'd rather him just only work on Macs. I don't have any Macs in queue. Well, guess what? I can go in and I can run a promotion now to these guys who are using Macs, and I can go in and say, look.
Yeah, like maintenance, right?
Yeah,
like,
you want to, how about a 10% discount? I'll give you a 10% discount if you bring in your Mac this week. I'll fix it, or I'll do some free upgrade. You know, I'll do this or that. I'll give you some extra promotion. Why? Because it's better for me to have this guy busy fixing Macs than not have any Macs in queue and have him now having to fix iPhones because he's not really good at that.
Of course. So imagine my customer already went through the flow. He chose an iPhone 6, and he wants to repair it today or schedule a repair for tomorrow. You told us like ManyChat will not recognize schedules or dates, right? So how do you handle that? Just like notify admins and then you pick through a date or check the date manually, or what?
So, you could come in and say this. You could do something like this, where he just has a button that says, "Hey, I want to fix today." So now from here, you could have something happen from here. And if he wants to schedule a repair from here, you could actually just go in and trigger some Zapier process and add something to a Google Calendar, because Google Calendar will actually convert free text into a physical date for you.
Oh, so how could I add a Google Calendar there? I have to like join my or log into my Google account and then.
First thing you got to do is upgrade to Pro, my man. That's the first thing you got to do. You got to upgrade to Pro.
I can do it. Yeah.
Once you upgrade to Pro, you'll just click that trigger Zap.
All right.
And you could do something like that. Schedule. Oops. You could do something just like that. Schedule iPhone 6 repair. And then just go to Zapier.com, set up an account with Zapier.
Nice.
And then you'll actually see in my Zaps, I've already got several ones already for, oh, we got one over here somewhere. So here's one right here, make dinner reservation. So literally you'll just go in on a new trigger Zap event. What will be your Zap event? What would be that Zap event that you just created, schedule iPhone 6 repair? That will be your Zap event. And then you'll just pipe this into a calendar. You'll just go in and pipe into a calendar that this guy wants to schedule this. You'll ask him for this. You'll ask him, hey, when would you like to schedule this repair for? And then you'll grab that data and you'll just input that data into the start date and time. And as long as he gives you some data like tomorrow at noon or Monday, the 26th of November, as long as he gives you some text that would actually resolve to a date, if a human was reading it, Google and their NLP algorithm will resolve that text to a date for you.
Wow. Wow.
So pretty straightforward. You could actually see that if you look. Let's come in here to a new incognito and let's go to Gmail. And I'll go to Gmail and go to john@tier5.us. And I'll come here. And then I'll just come over here to my calendar. And then let's look at meetings. Should be this meeting. Pretty sure it's going to be that one. So let's come in here. Let's come in right here and come over here to this John Vaughn bot. And let's look at some of my keywords here. I got this keyword, schedule appointment, schedule meeting. So whenever a user does that, essentially I trigger a Zap called schedule appointment. All right, so now I know if I come back over here to Zapier and come over here to my Zaps, over here, I should have some schedule event. And if I look at this guy, I can see that he is connected to this John Vaughn account and it's on schedule appointment. And this is called schedule appointment. So I know it must be that Zap. So if I look here, I can see that this is going to that meetings calendar, which was this meetings calendar right here. Okay. So now I know if I come in to this guy right here, to this John Vaughn bot, so I know if I come in here and send a message to this guy, schedule a meeting, that should trigger
That's
my
the keyword
keyword.
you have there, right?
Correct. That's my keyword. What is this meeting will be about? Testing for live demo. Should I send a calendar invite to there? Yeah, sure. Send me a calendar invite to there.
That's how do you send a confirmation? You use JSON or what you use there? What's the Zapier else?
That's all done through Google. Google does that automatically. Can you tell me the time and date you want to have the meeting today at 5 p.m. EST? So now there should be, if you look somewhere on here, if I go to this meetings, see, there's that new event that just got put in right there. So just like that. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward, right? None of that was too complicated. So pretty straightforward flow that happened there. You can see pretty straightforward flow that happened there. Whenever somebody wants to schedule an appointment, the first thing I do is ask them what that meeting is about. Then I look to check to see, do I have their email address already? If I don't have their email address, I just collect their email address at that time. If I do have their email address, I just ask, should I send that calendar appointment? If you look, there's a calendar appointment that I just got right there. So I just got that calendar appointment whenever I scheduled that booking. So I asked, should I send the confirmation to this email? If they say yes, we move forward. If they say no, I just put them down here, ask them for the email, and then we move forward. Then I just say, hey, when do you want to have this meeting? Whenever, as soon as they give me that input, I trigger that zap, and that zap was this zap right here that just basically takes in their data and puts this information in. Now, one thing that I always do is in this description, this optional description, I put their ManyChat user ID in so that I can go in and have a meeting reminder just like this that will go in, let's say 30 minutes before the event actually triggers. It will go in and send a message out to those guys through Facebook that says, hey, we had a meeting scheduled, so don't forget about that meeting.
So you don't have to schedule it through a broadcast. It actually does it from Zapier, right?
Yeah, Zapier. As soon as Zapier, Google will send an event to Zapier 30 minutes before, or whatever you select here before that event starts. Google will just dump off some data to Zapier about that event, and then Zapier can send it right in through ManyChat. The only thing you have to be able to do is know who your ManyChat user is that you're going to send the reminder to. That's why I put in the description what their ManyChat ID is, so that I can just grab it from Google's data, because I know Google is holding in that description of that event. Google's actually holding that ManyChat ID in that description field, so I can just use that to go in and use that as my ManyChat ID, because that's literally what it is. So I can push out the data, and you can see that it actually works, because in here several times, see right here, we have a meeting about the live demo. I got that. Here was another one over here. We have a meeting about cool stuff. We have a meeting about everything, because I'm making those meetings during demos, just like I did this. I'm making those meetings, and then obviously whenever that meeting comes, 30 minutes within that meeting, Zapier is just pushing me out a message saying, hey, remember that meeting? We had that meeting, so make sure you're there for that meeting.
Yeah. Well, thanks. That's lots of information for one lesson.
That's how I like my lessons, man. I like to make sure that you guys learn as much as possible in these lessons, because that's what they're for. They're for you to take advantage and get all the information that you want. Eugene, you ask, is there any way that we could make a multilingual bot triggering get started text? So the quick answer to that is hell yes. So all you need to do for that is, let's say you can just come right here into your automation, come right here to your welcome message. Let's edit this guy. Let's say this is if a guy speaks English right here. So now we want to go in and add some condition. And then in this condition, we're just going to say the user's language is equal to English. Then we're going to route him over here. If it's not, then we can route him to some other language. So we can either route him, let's say we can go in and say, hey, if not, here's another condition. And we can say, actually, we'll just delete that condition, because I like to do things as fast as possible, and it's faster to copy and paste that guy and just edit one thing than it is to actually go in and refill out the condition. So let's say, hey, if his language is Spanish, I can speak Spanish. If it's not, I can just say, sorry, I don't speak that language. And if it's Spanish, then I could just now come in over here. I could hold down my shift key, and I could copy all this stuff by hitting Control-C, and I can paste it over here, and then move all that over there. And I can just come in here, route them over there, and then I can just hit up my good old friend Google Translate, and then I can just go translate Google. And then here's some Google Translate, and I can say, hey, I want to translate from English to Spanish, and I want to go in and grab all this content, give that guy to him. And then I'll just come in here and put that guy inside there. And then I need to come in here, grab that guy, put that guy in there. And do the same thing. So now you can see really quickly. Now, I mean, I'm going to have to spend a little bit of time, obviously, going in here, translating these guys, and then I need to go into all these different flows, and also in every one of my flows, you'll have to have this in every one of your flow, obviously. Every one of your flow, you'll have to go in and say, hey, look, if this dude wants English, give him this English content. If this dude wants Spanish, give him the Spanish content. If he wants Chinese, then give him the Chinese content. So does that answer your question, Eugene? How you can easily go in and do that? Now you could do something even easier here, Eugene. Here I'm inferring based on what language they've given to Facebook. Now, in my opinion, you could be pretty damn certain whatever language this guy has told Facebook that he wants his content in is the language he is most comfortable receiving content in, because he's on Facebook, he's getting that content in Facebook in that language. So you could be pretty certain that whatever that is accurate. If you don't want to make that assumption, though, you could just go in and ask this guy a question before all of this. So before all this, you could go in and ask him a question up here. And you can just say, what language do you want to get info in? And then maybe give that to Google as well. And give it to him in a couple different languages. And then give him some quick replies, or make the last one of these a question like we did before. That would be some multiple choice question where you go in and give him, English, Spanish, Chinese, Arabic, whatever languages you want your bot to support. Now, after you do that, you would have a conditional clause that wouldn't check this. It would check whatever variable that you're storing this data in here. So whatever variable that you're storing in here, that's what you're going to check into this condition. And then from this guy, you're just going to continue automatically into these conditional blocks right here. Now, in these conditional blocks, you can go in and see, did the guy tell me he wants English? Route him over here. Did the guy tell me he wants Spanish? Route him over here. And that's how you could go and easily make a multilingual bot. Pretty straightforward. And then if you're doing stuff on a demo and you got a whole bunch of content that you want to get rid of, remember, you can just go in and do all that. You can just hold down the Shift key, do all that, and just go ahead and delete all that and be back to where you started relatively quickly. So hopefully that answers your question, Eugene. So is there a way to create a library of modules that can be used across different bots, or do these modules need to reside within each bot? So that's a great question, Dennis. And yes, that's totally possible. If you remember, as I've been, and if you see here, here's a good example of somebody who's not doing a good job on their bot, which is why I'm not responding to this guy. You see, this guy does the same thing. This guy believes this guy right here thinks he's some Facebook genius and a multimillionaire or something like that. And he thinks he's just like a marketing guru. But if you look at his message, he's done the same thing. He's completely turned me off as an audience because he's given me too much content here, where he should have broken this up into 2 different messages and then provided this as another message. So maybe I'll just send him that. So yes, as you've seen, as we've been going through these actual demos, every time I've done this, I've told you guys, hey, my recommendation is whenever you need a piece of content, I mean, everything that you're going to do, those flows are pretty generic, right? You must be understanding. And if you don't understand what you're creating a flow for, my recommendation is going to be don't create that flow. If you don't know why you're creating a flow and what your goal is for that flow, don't create it. You need to spend a little bit more time first planning out that flow. Once you spend that time planning out that flow and understanding exactly what this flow is going to be, how you're going to route somebody through this series of messages, what you're actually going to try to accomplish, you plan that out first. Once you have that plan, then you can go in, and it's a good time for you now to go in and actually create your flow. Because if you don't do that, you're just going to be spinning wheels creating your flow, and you're going to be spending more time than actually is necessary in creating this flow. So let's assume that you've got that and you've spent that time and you've went in and actually planned things out. If you do like I've recommended you to do, and every time you need to create some new flow, you don't go to a broadcast, or you don't go to a growth tool, or you don't go to a keyword and then start building that there. You first start right here. You just first go to content, you create a new content, you give this content a very robust generic name of what this flow is for, what will be accomplished through here. You're going to score, you're going to do a lead score, you're going to collect somebody's email, you're going to find somebody's marketing preferences, you're going to segment out a user, right? Whatever it is that you're actually going to do here. You're going to show a menu, you're going to show a drink menu, or whatever you're going to go in and do here. Now you've created this, now you're doing kind of like I'm doing. You're creating this, oh, let's get out of there because that's not a good guy to look at. You're creating this library of content that you can now go in and actually, you can go in and work with over and over again. So if you want to collect emails from somebody, get user email, you have this as a generic content that you can use at any time. All right. So if you want to share this across a bot, verify email address, you can literally just do that, and you can copy to another page, and then you can just choose this to another page. So let's say I'm going to copy this to this demo coaching bot page because I literally have nothing on that demo coaching bot page. So let's look at that guy, and then let's come over here and let's look at that demo coaching bot. Now let's look at this content here. Here's that imported content that I just set over here. So let's look at this, and there that guy is versus there that guy is, which if I hit this little magic wand that they give me, if I hit that magic wand, then that guy will end up being just like that. Now, the only thing that isn't going to follow over are these guys. So these guys won't actually follow over, okay? This user input is going in here to an email field. Over here, where is this guy going? This is going over here to also an email field. But if you can see over here, this input is not flowing over automatically, so you need to go in and catch that guy. So other than that, everything works. Now this guy also didn't copy over here. So you can see that guy didn't copy over, so we need to go in and give that condition as well. So now pretty simple. Now that entire flow has been copied over, and I'm just going to publish this guy. Please set up a condition. So I need to do that again. And what was that condition? That was that same condition. Email has any value. So now that guy exists. So now I can come back over here to this content, and I can just go in and rename this guy to whatever he was named over here, verify email address. And then there you go. He's been copied over from one to another. But yes, whenever you copy over from one bot to another, you definitely need to keep in mind the custom fields that you're using and any of the Zapier integrations that you're using. So my recommendation, and I didn't follow it whenever I did this, but my recommendation is what you do is that you first go in and So you first go in and basically audit what custom fields that you're using in this flow, what Zapier integrations are you using for this flow, because you'll have to go in and recreate those custom fields or re-reference those custom fields, and you'll have to go in and recreate those zaps. But are you going to ever be able to copy from one bot to another and it automatically just work out of the box? No, not possible. One, especially if you're using Zapier integrations, because the Zapier integration itself is bound and tied to a particular bot. So if you go in and you copy something with one Zap and you expect it to work from one bot to another bot, well, it's not going to work because Zapier itself is referencing a bot. So so no, you're not going to be able to create something really, really robust like you're wanting to, but you can definitely do what I just did, which will save you a lot of time and allow you to bootstrap your next bot build where you don't have to do a lot of work. You have to do very, very minimum work. So that means you'll be able to take your bot build from, let's say, 80 hours down to maybe 10 hours worth of work, because you're copying over content sequences from one bot to another. But you won't be able to create, I'm not in ManyChat at this time anyways, a real robust set of modulars that you can use in any bot, especially because of that whole Zapier thing being tied and connected to one specific bot. You're always going to have to go in and actually update what bot that's coming from. So no, unfortunately, no, you can't do something like that, but you can do something relatively similar. Can I have that water? So what else, guys? You must have some more questions or more things that you want to do or see. Can you give a link to your bot real quick, and I'll take a look? And can you give a link to your page real quick, Richard? And I'll look and see. I don't think that there's any difference at all, other than the fact that I believe yours said the same thing, though, actually, Richard. I believe yours said, no, yours said, oh, his said get started. Oh, that must be the difference. See, yours says message. It doesn't say get started. Yours says message. This guy's Arnie, his says get started. And that's because he is actually using, instead of getting touch, he's doing use this messenger bot. I'm pretty sure if I pick this, see use our messenger bot, he's done get started. Now, what's the difference? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing is the difference at all. The only difference is this guy right here. That's the only difference. There is no other difference at all. Just a call to action. You see what just happened? Got my welcome message, delete conversation. Let's go in here and edit this guy. And then go back to get in touch, send message, save changes, test button. Exact same thing happens. Only difference is what the call to action verbiage is. So there's no real difference in functionality, just the call to action verbiage. Yeah, I think the CTA is better as well with send message, because I don't think people right now really understand what that get started actually means. So I think you're much better off just letting people know that they're going to be sending you a message. And you can see these bots work great. They work really great. Like, case in point, this Facebook group right here, literally started this Facebook group today. It's got 83 members in it today. And this literally just came from my bot sending out a broadcast to people saying, hey, by the way, I created, even probably some of you guys are in this group now because today you got a message from me letting you know that this group exists. So you've joined the group. So the bots are really great. They're a really great tool. Um, I would have to look into that, Dennis. I would have to look into that because I'm not 100% sure if you could do that. But one thing that you can do is go in and create these contents. Okay, so one thing that you could do is go in and actually create a content. You could go in and create some content like this. Find some image, happy birthday. Any of these images, I guess, would be fine. Happy birthday. This is a great image. Save this image. Now you can come back into this piece of content, go to your flow builder. And you could go in and add this image, that birthday. Where was that? Pictures. This was Giphy. Where was that guy? Giphy, right there. And then here in this thing, you could do and then add in their first name or add in their full name if you want to, just like that. And then if you have their age, you could go in and input their age there and say happy 31st birthday or happy whatever birthday. And then you could use a Zapier. You could use a Zap, and you could, on their birthday, you could trigger out this piece of content to them. You could send them back out this piece of content. You could send them out this piece of content, and then this piece of content would go back to them with their saying happy birthday with their name injected in it. And even these datas, you could push and fill in these datas from Zapier. You could have some birthday wish. You could have them go in one day and say, hey, would you like to have your birthday wish granted? And they're like, yeah. Bye, Richard. Thanks for your time. Thanks for coming, and hopefully you will make it to the training, because the training is going to be pretty much just the same, where we'll cover anything that you guys want to cover, and we'll do these live examples to show you exactly what you want to do. So you could go in and basically query, hey, what would you like to wish for on your birthday? And then store that in a custom field, and then you could inject that custom field right here. And then on their birthday, you could use Zapier. You could have Zapier go in and send this out. And then you can see that here they're going to get that, and it's going to say happy birthday, John Vaughn. And that will be kind of customized to them. So as far as another service that will allow you to do exactly this, that you're looking for, I'd have to do some research and find out if that's actually available, because I'm not sure if that's available or not. But you could do something like I just showed you. Something like that would also work. So I use that for certain things, creating that custom piece of content, and then I send data back from Zapier to fill in that card with Zapier. I use Zapier to set a custom field for somebody, and then in that card itself, I reference that custom field that I know Zapier is going to set. That way, that card is unique and it's being set based on custom input, custom data. So what else, guys? Anything else you want to see or you want to know?
Thanks, John. That was very helpful.
Yeah, no problem. So I really want to say your name. I really want to say your name, but I'm afraid that I'm just not going to say it right. Looks like E Lang. So I'm just going to call you E Lang. And if that's not correct, you just get on your mic and you tell me, no, John, that's not how you say it. But is there, oh, hey, Eddie. What's up, Eddie? Yeah, there's definitely flows that I think are really best practices to use whenever you're building your bots. One of them I always specify to you, which is whenever you're creating your bots, all your flows, you come in and you create it as a generic flow like this, where you give it a good name. So it's a generic modular flow so that you can go in and now reference that guy from any other flow. So that's a good practice. Another good practice is going to be, and that really depends on what you want to track. So if you want to track what all a user's seen in your bot, what they've seen, what they haven't seen, you can always go in and basically do something like this, where your starting action is going to be they started, and then your finishing action is going to be they finished. So for example, for this guy, so this is a good practice depending on the flows that you're using. Here you can go in now, and you'll easily be able to see who all has actually entered this flow out of all your users, how many of them have actually ever seen this flow right here, and how many of them have actually finished it and got to the end of this flow. So now you can easily keep track of, who's seen a particular flow and who died somewhere in the middle of the flow and just didn't finish it out. So if that's an important flow to you, you can go in and say, hey, anybody, I want to send out this flow. I want to send back out this flow to anybody who has started this flow but has not finished this flow, because I really need them to finish up this flow because it's important. It's a vital process of my lead qualification or whatever. It's a vital process for me. So now you can go in and target these people specifically and say, hey, anybody who's seen the beginning of this flow but have not got to the end of this flow, then I want to target them and I want to push this flow right back out to them, maybe with a message at the beginning that says, hey, you started this but never finished it. Could you help me out and just finish out this process? So other than that, and yes, there is a there is a page for that. Eddie, you can just go in and type in this keyword right here. Any of these keywords will do the trick. Pre-training replay, pre-training replay, pre-training video, pre-training video. Any of those will actually do the trick, and they will actually bring you into this guy right here. They will actually bring you into that guy right there. And we'll just edit this guy while we're here. And then the only other thing that we need to do is link all these guys right here back to that main guy. Now, just keep in mind that this right here, this session 2 is the session that we're currently on right now. So if you try to access that video, it's going to actually route you to day 6 live session 1, because obviously I don't have this video yet because it's still in the process of being made right now. So, but yes, you can see that if you use any of those keywords that I showed you, that will take you to where you can get access if you're a paid user that's paid for this content, where you can go in. So if it's asking for that, and you went through ClickFunnels, so now you should be good to go, Eddie. You should be completely good to go now. And you can see here, all this is just giving you all the pieces of content to all the pre-training videos like this that I've recorded to, that you have access to. If obviously you support me and give me a little bit of money. If you don't support me and you don't give me a little bit of money, that's completely fine. I have no issue with that, because I actually don't need your money at all. But if you don't want to give it to me, that's fine. I'm just not going to give you access to any of these videos. So, and you can see this is pretty straightforward. So this just basically takes you into a flow right here that says, hey, you know, here's all the different days that you can have. Each day routes to a little sub menu that says, okay, on this day, here's all the different videos that you have. And then also routes back up where you can get back to this guy to reach the other days. And then if you go to one of the actual individual days, that will give you the video for that day, but then it will also route back to this main nav so that you can get to any of the other guys as well. So, so pretty straightforward flow there. Nothing real complex there. Just a bunch of different interconnections there. And this is good because literally you don't want to kill anybody and, you know, just end them there and give them nothing else to do, because most of the time if you end somebody in a particular flow and you don't give them anything else to do, guess what? they're not going to do anything. They're going to stop right there, and they're not going to do anything at all. So if you want to keep them engaged, then you need to give them some CTAs. You need to give them some way to continuously engage and continuously be doing something in your bot. If you don't give them that, then like I said, they're just most likely not going to engage anymore. So you might as well just give them an opportunity to do some more engagement. So what else? Anything else you guys want to go over while we're here? Okay, Eddie. I'll be here all this week, buddy. Anything else you guys want to see while we're here? Because if not, I'll just end this one, and then I'll just go manage my company for a couple minutes and then do another live training. And I'll do another live training probably in about an hour. Probably start the next one right at noon.
Thanks, John. Again, appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks a lot for coming. So I'll just go ahead and end this one, guys. I'll do another one at, right at 12 o'clock, so right in an hour, and I'll just send you guys a notification. You can use the same link here. You can use the same link to join the next one, the same Zoom link, but I'll go ahead and send you guys out a notification right around like 11:50 whenever I'm getting ready to start the next one, and I'll just see you guys then.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
See you there.
Bye, guys.
Okay.